Hello everyone, welcome back to Doki Doki Blue Skies. We're starting a new adventure, a new route into the story. This time we're doing Yuri's story. Yeah, have some fun with her this time, because we've done quite a few things with Natsuki. We've just got done with the Sayori line, so now it's time to give Yuri some love. So we're gonna go over here to new game. Now, I'm gonna be skipping over these first moments because we already know how what it is, but and how we get to this point. If you want to go check that out, link in the description to the playlist where the story starts out. If you want to get caught up or experience the first part of the storyline, I'm just gonna skip over to where, all right, the first poem, but this time I'm going to be writing it for Yuri. So I'll see you guys when I get there. Wait. Oh yeah, this is when I select someone to help me with a book. Alright, everyone. This is where I write my first poems. So, let's start with contamination, incongruent, philosophy, entropy, whirlwind, despise, mausoleum, ambient, essence, embrace. No, that's her. Unrequited. Oh. What? Unrequited is a word for Sayori? Unrestrained. Uncanny. Melancholy. Existence. Misfortune. Okay. Intellectual. Broken. Extraordinary. What the heck is with massacre? Alright. Skip over that. Alright. I'd love to talk to Yuri a bit more, especially after she gave me that book. However, she seems to be focused on her own book. I'm worried I might just distract her. As she lifts up to turn the page, I get a glimpse at the cover. It's the same book that she gave me, and it looks like she's only just started it. Oh damn, I hope she didn't think I was staring at her. Our eyes meet, but our eyes dart away quickly. Sorry. No, it's fine. I didn't mean to stare, I was just spacing out a bit. Oh. Well, if I had been actually concentrating, I wouldn't have noticed. I meant to ask, though. Isn't that the book you gave me? Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites, so I thought I'd give it another read-through. Not for any reason, I assure you. I see, but why do you have two copies of the same book? Well, I know I lent you the book yesterday, but I figured you might feel more comfortable with your own copy. I know that I always feel more at ease when I'm handling my own belongings. If an accident happens, there's less at stake than if you damage someone else's property, so... you're probably less clumsy than I am, though. Yuri, the ever-graceful girl, thinks that she's clumsy? Nah, I'm pretty sure I'm just as clumsy as you, if not more so. Oh, right. Anyway,
After our meeting adjourned yesterday, I went to the bookstore to get you... That is to say, I forgot I already had a copy and accidentally bought another, and it seemed like a waste to just hold on to it.
Couldn't you have just returned it, though?
They'd already closed, so...
There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm glad that you gave it to me. I'll get started on it right away.
That makes me happy to hear. It's the kind of story that really draws you in if you're not careful. You can lose track...
Oh.
If you're not careful, you can lose track of time very easily. I know I've opened it for some light reading before bed, only to close it to find that the sun's rising. I'm sure that won't happen to you, though. You'll be able to get enough sleep as usual. That is, unless you generally find yourself lacking sleep, in which case, you should go to bed earlier. But you can do whatever you want. I don't mean to overstep my bounds.
Don't worry about it, Yuri. I'll be sure to read it earlier in the day. Do you mind telling me a bit more about it?
I'd love to. Now, where do I begin?
Yuri delicately closes the book, her eyes scanning the cover.
Well, actually, I don't think I could give an adequate explanation on my own. If I were to tell you more about the story than I did yesterday, it would lose a lot of its impact. Forgive me if it sounds like I'm brushing you off. That's not what I intended.
It's alright, Yuri. Come to think of it, you did summarize it well enough already.
Yes. I'm sorry. I seem to get lost in my own mind whenever I talk about these kinds of stories. Don't you have anything like that, Flam?
I guess so. Yuri nods with a delicate smile.
Everyone has a deeply held interest that stirs their passion within their heart. I suppose for me it would be my novels and...
Yuri cuts herself off. Those first three words. Yuri cuts herself. What the hell? As though she were about to say something she didn't want to.
Well, you know what I mean.
What got you into these sort of stories, though? I gesture towards the book in her arms. Do your parents enjoy them as well? Yuri pauses for a moment, shyly looking down at her feet. She seems to be going over what she wants to say in her head.
I've always had an interest in the macabre. In the macabre. This genre can easily throw you for a loop.
Is it pronounced macabre? Macabre? Yeah, the macabre? Yeah.
Well, many stories are simply content to introduce an antagonist and condition their reader to root against them. Books like this one can find ways to flip the narrative on its head. So, while you might initially find yourself relating to the protagonist, you might suddenly find out that they're their own worst enemy. I'm rambling, aren't I? Please forgive me. I really should try to think about others more.
Yuri, I promise, I'm not mad at you. You're just passionate, which is pretty cool.
It is?
For a brief moment, a tiny smile teases at the corner of Yuri's mouth.
Well, I'll try not to worry about it too much. But sometimes I get distracted when I think about books and writing. I forget where I am and start speaking my mind. So please forgive me if I say anything unusual. And if I seem like I'm not paying attention, please let me know. I really don't think you need to worry about that, Yuri. This is a literature club, after all. Isn't that the sort of thing we should be discussing anyway? I suppose so.
So on that note, would you like to read a bit together?
You don't need to force yourself to spend time with me if you don't want to.
But what if I do?
You really want to spend your time with me?
Of course, Yuri. Book in hand, I slide into the desk next to Yuri. Is everything okay?
Yes. I'm terribly sorry, Flam. I'm just not too accustomed to reading in company. It's usually been a solitary affair for me, you see.
Yeah, I can understand how this might seem a bit unsettling for you. If it gets too overwhelming, let me know. I won't be offended if you need some space.
Alright.
I open up the book, allowing the hardcover to flop against the desk. As I read through the prologue, I notice Yuri glancing over at my book. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't comfortable in a way, but it's somewhat distracting.
I'm sorry. I hope I wasn't distracting you.
Yuri, why do you apologize all the time? You've really done nothing wrong.
Do I? I can't help it, I suppose. It's like an involuntary reflex. If I preemptively apologize, it'll lessen both my disappointment in myself as well as others' disapproval of me. I didn't mean to make things so awkward. Sorry. I mean...
It's okay, don't worry about it. How about we do this? I push our two desks together and then slide my book between the two of them.
I suppose that'll work.
Yuri puts her own copy away and shifts a bit closer to me. I steady the right side of the book between my thumb and forefinger, and Yuri does the same with the other side. Perfect. Now we can both go through that at the same pace.
Yes.
Ah. The two of us are huddled closely together over the book, carefully reading it. I can see Yuri's gentle face in my peripheral vision. She has a stern, focused expression, her eyes slowly scanning each page.
Do you need a bit more time with this page?
Sorry. I guess I'm not really too quick of a reader. I look over and our gazes meet. There's a coy sparkling to her eyes.
It's quite alright, Flam. We can go whatever pace you're comfortable with. After all, you've been so patient with me today. It'd only be fair for me to return the favor, wouldn't it?
Thanks. I'll try not to take too long. The two of us continue reading in relative silence. Even though we're so quiet, each turn of the page feels as though we're connected. Yes, my thumb. Gently releasing the paper, for then her to raise her thumb and put the paper under it. As I let go of the page, it gently flows over to her, and she delicately slides it under her thumb. I know that the text was right there, but I wasn't even looking at the screen as I was going over that monologue.
Flam?
Having been absorbed by the story, Yuri reels me back in.
Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you.
It's fine. What were you going to say?
Well, I suppose I just wanted to thank you for this. I had always hoped I could find someone to share my interest in books with. I've never really had anyone read with me before. Having someone else be there is nice.
Really? I would have thought you'd at least done some reading with your family.
Yes, well, I did when I was younger, but...
She trails off, not finishing the thought. I decided not to press her further on it right now. Yuri takes a slow, deep breath.
I'm just happy that you're here for me. I mean, with me. Not that I want you to be there for me or anything, but... I can't believe I messed things up again.
Wait, Yuri. I don't think you've done anything wrong. You're just really sloppy when you use your words. You think with your heart on your sleeve. Gosh. If anything, I think of that as a compliment.
You do?
Sure. If I'm being honest, I enjoy your company as well. Okay, everyone! Shut your traps! Ding dong, bing bong! Time to read your poems! Your harmonica dumped the crane on its time!
Hi. Hey, man. You want to read Little Doggies?
Sorry, I had to revive that meme.
Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Oh.
Yuri sighs dejectedly, looking down at the floor.
Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not that. Don't worry about me. I'm alright.
Yuri lets go of the book and closes the cover, handing it back to me. We got through a fair bit today, didn't we? Do you mind if I continue a bit further on my own? Or would you prefer I only read it with you?
You don't have to limit yourself on my behalf if you want to keep reading. After all, I've already finished this story before.
Then I guess I'll continue reading a little bit tonight. Then we'll have a bit more to talk about tomorrow.
Yes, that's a good idea, Flam. Just be sure to let me know how far you get so I can avoid spoilers for you.
Alright. I skimmed through the book to find the page where we left off on and folded it in slightly to mark for later.
By the way, you did remember to write a poem, right?
Don't worry, I'm not that much of a slacker. Got it right here in my bag. I ruffled through some stray papers to pull out the page that I wrote my poem on. While I can't help but feel a little nervous, I have to admit that I'm excited now. Talking to these girls has really calmed my nerves, and now I'm just eager to share my poem. After all, judging by each girl's personality, I doubt that anyone would say anything nasty about it. Well, Natsuki. I don't know if she'd be unduly harsh, though. She just seems like the type of person who enjoys ribbing in on her friends. Either way, I hope they realize I put hard work into it. Oh, I can skip this. Okay. So who should I show my poem to first? Okay, so since I'm writing these poems for Yuri this time, I'm going to show them to her last. So I think I'm going to start with Sayori. I'm definitely most comfortable sharing it with Sayori first. She's my good friend after all.
You said this is your first poem, right?
Yeah. Why?
It impressed me. Especially for your first poem. Maybe this really is a place for you.
Come on, it's not that good. I mean, it's not like I'm used to writing poems or anything. But thanks, I guess.
Don't be so hard on yourself, William. Everyone has to start somewhere. You're already off to a good start. Anyway, I guess I can show you mine now. Don't expect too much, though. I'm not very good at this.
Only one way to find out. Yeah, dear sunshine. Hey. Ah. The way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above. The sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast.
Well, what'd you think?
I hesitate to answer as I answer. It's not that it was a bad poem. In fact, it was great. I'm just really inexperienced with poetry, especially feedback. It's really you.
What's that supposed to mean?
As in, the poem just really reminds me of you. It made me feel really good inside. Oh, I can skip this. Okay. Who should I show my poem to next?
Natsuki.
Yeah, Natsuki.
William, if you're actually not gonna try, then you better just then you're better off just leaving the club.
Jeez, you don't beat around the bush, do ya?
Why should I? This is just plain bad.
Hey, do I look like a writer? This is my first ever poem. Yeah, it's probably garbage, but I still tried. If you're so confident, let's see the first poem you wrote, huh? Hard to think about?
Ugh, fine. I'm, sorry if you were offended.
Wow. That's... Didn't expect that from Natsuki for some reason. Way to avoid a direct apology.
But next time, at least try a little bit harder.
Now, nowhere to go but up, eh?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Just read my poem. Knowing you, you'll probably hate it.
Sometimes. Some folks are winners, some only lose. Some are go-getters, some only cruise. Sometimes we try hard and give it our all. Sometimes we give up. What else can we do? Alright, so let's just skip this because it's the same dialogue. Monica! Hi, Flam.
Hope you've been enjoying your time here.
Yeah, definitely. I probably sound like a broken record by now, but everyone's been really welcoming.
Well, a broken record isn't so bad when it plays something so nice.
I guess so.
Anyway, since you're new and everything, feel free to bring up any questions or concerns you might have.
Oh, I can skip this first part.
That was interesting because he wanted to.
Alright, so I just showed her my poem.
Good work, Flam.
Really? You can lay the brutal truth on me if you want.
You don't have to be so harsh on yourself. This is your first time writing poetry, is it?
That it is.
It usually takes a while for people to become completely comfortable with their writing. And even then, they're constantly evolving their style and changing things up.
I guess that's true. Either way, you shouldn't have high expectations for me. If you don't, my poems will seem better when I actually put in some effort anyway. I muttered that line half-jokingly to myself, but it seems like Monica still picked up on it.
Yeah, that's not very fair. More importantly, though, you should have faith in yourself.
Sorry.
Anyway, about your poem. The subject was deeper than I expected out of you.
You just don't understand the troubled genius of my angst-ridden mind.
That might have been so. I guess we have two troubled and angsty geniuses in this club, then.
You're talking about Yuri, right?
You're on the style very similar to Yuri's. Her writing is full of imagery and symbolism. While Sayori and Natsuki like to use simple and direct words to communicate their messages, Yuri likes to use complex diction and syntax to allow readers to derive their own meanings out of it. In other words, her vocabulary and sentence structure are usually quite involved.
Huh? Yeah, that sounds like her all right.
It might be a bit tough to understand her writing at first, but what seems opaque.
I always hate these words.
But what seems opaque actually has very deep meanings behind it.
I'm not looking forward to floundering when trying to figure out what to say about Yuri's poem later. She sounds like the sort of person an English teacher would love.
Don't worry, Flam. If you just give her writing a few reads through, I'm sure you'll find that they're far from incomprehensible.
So you say. Are you sure that my writing is similar to hers? I think it's an understatement to say that I'm nowhere near her level yet.
Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm doing a lot of different things before I'm settled in my own style. Skip. Oh. I wanted to read her poem. Oops. That's a shame. Alright. Yuri! Yuri's eyes seem to sparkle as she reads my poem.
My goodness. This is unparalleled.
I think that might be a bit much.
Oh, forgive me if I didn't sound sincere.
Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. Don't sweat it, Yuri. I just wasn't expecting to hear such a compliment from you already.
I see.
Yuri clears her throat.
Well, I just wanted to say, this is truly an impeccable poem.
Yuri glances down back at my poem.
So, I assume this isn't your first piece, am I correct? Your composition incorporated a lot of beautiful poetic devices and imagery indicative of an experienced writer.
Well, I hate to disappoint, but this is kind of my first time doing this sort of thing.
You're joking, right?
I shake my head. If I ended up writing a good poem, it's totally coincidental, I'm afraid.
I see. Well, in that case, I think you've got a wonderful gift. Although, if you would like, I could offer you some advice for your future poems.
Yuri's eyes light up as though she's been looking forward to this. Please do. I need all the help I can get.
I just noticed a few qualities consistent with newer writers that showed up in your poem. Perhaps what stands out the most is that you've tried very hard to make the structure of this poem your own. And that's okay, but if this is your first poem you've written, it might be prudent to consider more traditional structures, couplets, sonnets, haiku, and the like. If you're not confident in your rhyme style, it'll show in your piece.
It's like Yuri is a totally different person when she gets going. She sounds incredibly confident and stands tall, speaking clearly.
Again, that's not your fault. I think that once you've studied poetic structure and techniques a bit more, you'll be able to put together a truly wonderful composition.
I appreciate the feedback, Yuri. It sounds like you're well versed in this sort of thing. Would it be okay if I took a look at what you've written?
Oh goodness, of course. Please, let me know what you think. I'd be thrilled to explain my process.
Yuri smiles dreamily as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Tumble. Hail falls down like discarded dust of overused emotions, dragging down blankets made of want. Slender string pierces my eyelids, barely painful, and pulls them shut. Ever so heavy, ever so heavy. I think I misplaced something. Is there a piece missing? You need all the pieces to fix something. Please don't look for it. There are more important things for you to do today. Alright, I can skip this part here. Oh, okay, I gotta read through this one.
For example, the words and images of this poem aren't meant to be taken at face value. In actuality, it's supposed to represent the last remnants of something lost to the past, and the sense of plaintive longing that comes with it.
Huh, that's pretty impressive when you put it that way.
You really think so? That might be a bit much, Flam.
No, I really mean it. I think I could learn something from your poetry, Yuri.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
You know, at first, the prospect of sharing my writing was terrifying, but I'm really glad I was able to do it. Hopefully I can write another piece that you'll like, Flam.
I'll look forward to it, Yuri. Alright. Skip it, Drew! Okay, she's putting my name into it and it's not letting me skip.
Look, I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work on me. I'm sorry, but I don't quite understand. This kind of thing only works on amateurs like Flam.
Ouch. I don't like where this conversation is headed.
Writing in this way doesn't make you look cool or smart, okay? It just makes you look super pretentious. If you write with a thesaurus open next to you, you're just going to alienate everyone. Using all these big words to make up for lack of depth. Poetry isn't about impressing people, so you can just stop.
Holy crap. I stare wide-eyed at Monica and Sayori, who have now also fallen silent. They stare back at me, looking unsure of what to do. Okay, I can skip here. How did I get dragged into this in the first place? I don't even know what they want me to decide on at this point. Should I just ignore all the personal stuff and just talk about their poetry? That's what started the argument after all. But it's not like I'm going to be... It's not like I'm a good judge of writing quality, given that I'm just a beginner. I don't think it would be fair for me to take either side either, especially since I'm new here. Maybe I should just defer to one of the club's leaders. So of course that's going to be... So last time I picked Sayori, so this time I'm going to pick Monica. I honestly don't know what to do in this situation. I quickly glance over to Monica. Monica nods at me and approaches the two girls.
Yuri and Natsuki, this is...
She clears her throat. Is it just me, or did her confident persona seem to waver a bit?
This is no way to act in our club.
Monica does seem sort of disoriented. She's probably not used to such confrontation.
You're kind of setting a bad example. Flam's probably really uncomfortable. Not to mention that there's really no reason for this argument to be happening. But Monica... No, I can't have this in the club. Are you kidding me? Don't you see how Yuri is treating me? She's being a massive jerk right now. There's so much reason for this argument. Excuse me, Natsuki, but it's actually your own toxic behavior that led to this.
Yuri really emphasized that toxic bit.
Toxic behavior? What are you talking about? Are you even listening to yourself? This is exactly why no one wants to be your... Enough!
Monica seems to have gotten over herself and now looks livid.
You guys are supposed to be friends, aren't you? It's so foolish how you two are acting. Don't you have any consideration for the other club members? You're even making Flam uncomfortable. Yuri, didn't you say yourself that you wanted to make him feel as welcome as possible? What happened to that? I didn't mean to make him feel that way. And don't forget, Sayori, she always acts in everyone's best interest. While you two act like this. I wasn't even trying to do anything either. I'm just being honest. Yuri is... Let me finish, Natsuki. I would ask you to please reconsider the way you are treating one another. You guys are obviously talented with your running skills, and you both have unique aspects to your running styles. That's what makes you guys special. To be fair, I'm obviously not good with handling situations like this, but...
There's a sudden pause for a minute, and I decide to break the silence. I agree with Monica. Fighting will only cause everyone to split apart, and to be honest, I really like it here. And I believe if there's any resentment held over it just won't be the same. Both girls are speechless. Yuri is the first to speak.
I'm just going to make tea.
Natsuki remains silent and takes a seat, only to stare into nothingness. I slide next to Sayori. Man, I can see why she's president.
Yeah, she was pretty great. Even though she doubts herself, I think she handled that pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Monica seems like such a genuine, sweet girl. Hopefully I'll be able to properly get to know her during the school year.
Okay, everyone.
Alright, just about time for us to leave. Skippity-doo-dah, skippity-yay. Alright. Disoriented. Imagination. Melancholy. Eternity. Passion. Incongruent. Secretive. Entropy. Existence. Romance. Heaven set. Incapable. Unrestrained. Judgment. Vivacious. Insight. Pleasure. Vertigo. Extraordinary. Misfortune. Alright. Skipperoo, skipperoo, skipperoo. The whole incident about Sayori being sneaky about, you know, the vending machine snack and all that. Alright, Natsuki pouts in her seat. Everyone calms down and quickly returns to their normal activities. Sarah has managed to finish the entire cookie. Meanwhile, Natsuki gets up and heads for the closet, and Yuri is already lost in her book. Alright. Hello, Yuri.
Hello, Flam.
Yuri places the book she was holding down on her desk. I'm not interrupting you or anything, am I?
Oh, not at all. Were you hoping to continue reading together?
Well, yes, actually. Would that be alright?
Oh, of course. Before we get started, would it be alright if I made some tea?
Sure. What did you have in mind?
Perhaps I could show you.
Yuri stands up and drifts towards the back of the room. She opens up the cupboard and retrieves a glass pitcher.
It'll just be a moment, is it alright?
Yeah, take your time. Yuri turns to leave, but then suddenly wheels back.
Oh, I almost forgot. There's an electric kettle in the cupboard here. Would you mind plugging it in for me while I'm gone?
Sure. See you in a bit. This time she leaves the classroom for real. She's nervously clutching onto the water pitcher, yet she still appears to make long, elegant strides. It's really quite astonishing to see. She almost looks graceful.
Oh, where's Yuri off to? You didn't scare her away, did ya?
Yeah, I threw on my mask and went blah, blah, blah. Well, what? No. At least, I don't think so.
I'm just teasing you, Flam.
Right. That's not really what I'd call a good joke, but I don't argue. Yuri just wanted to make some tea, so she went to fetch some water.
I see. Yuri's very proud of her tea set. Has she shown it to you yet?
Oh, not yet, no.
Maybe you should ask her about it. tea is a big passion of hers, so I'm sure she'd be happy to talk about it a bit. Who knows? Maybe I'll help you get a little closer to her.
Eh? Monica giggles.
I'm just messing with you again, Flam.
There's a bit of deception in the teasing, though. It's like she's trying to warn me about something, or she's trying to hint at something for me. At that moment, the door to the club room opens and Yuri walks back in with a full water pitcher.
Ah, speak of the devil. Well, I won't keep you any further. Have fun with Yuri.
Monica walks away and Yuri approaches me.
Is everything alright? I'm sorry for taking so long.
You're fine. Monica was just telling me about your tea set.
Ah.
A delicate smile plays across Yuri's face.
Yes. Would you like to see it?
Monica must have been telling the truth. She genuinely looks excited to share this with me. I'd be happy to, Yuri.
Flam, do you like oolong tea?
I don't really have a preference. I'm sure whatever you give me will be fine.
Very well.
Yuri sets the temperature on the electric kettle at 200 degrees. She then begins measuring our tea leaves into a strainer. Monica wasn't kidding. You must really enjoy this, huh? Yuri smiles shyly, blushing slightly.
Yes. Besides reading, tea is a true passion of mine.
A piping
hot cup of tea alongside a gripping novel? Doesn't that sound wonderful?
Yeah, I guess it does. I have to admit, it's kind of fascinating seeing you be so exact with everything.
Tea is an art, Flam. It's a delicate dance where each step must be perfect. Even the temperature of the water needs to be precisely 200 degrees.
Really? The tea I make when I haphazardly plop a tea bag in boiling water seems fine to me. But then again, I guess Yuri's making tea with higher grade ingredients. Once the water is boiled, Yuri adds it to the pot and carefully steeps the tea leaves. She hums to herself delicately, and pours out a cup of tea for each of us. It's nice seeing you like this.
Well, what do you mean?
You just seem so relaxed, like you're in the zone.
I see. Expressing myself really isn't as hard as I thought it'd be. I'm glad I get to do this sort of thing with someone else, especially someone as delightful as yourself, Lamb.
Eh?
I'm sorry if that sounded weird. I don't want to make you uncomfortable.
It's really okay, Yuri. I want to do all this with you. It's kind of new for me as well. Maybe a bit of company will make it easier on both of us.
Yes. Thank you for being so patient with me, Flam.
Yuri really doesn't have much self-confidence. It's like someone was mercilessly berating her on an emotional level since childhood. The least I can do is let her be herself a little. Maybe over time she'll grow more comfortable around others.
Flam, would it be okay if we sat on the floor today?
I don't see why not. Any particular reason why though?
I can rest against the wall and read instead of leaning over my desk. I often have back pain, so it'd be a little easier on me.
Oh sure, I don't mind.
Thank you. Sometimes it can be a real bother to have big boobs. That is to say,
Based on how she's acting, I think I can guess what she might be referring to, but confirming that would probably make her feel even more embarrassed. You mean you have terrible reading posture, right? I can't imagine hunching over your books like that so much is too comfortable.
Yes. That's exactly what I was going to say. So if I were to sit on the floor...
Yeah, that makes sense. Let me just get the book. I retrieved the novel alongside a small bag of chocolates. Yeah, your terrible reading posture, Yuri. You lean forward. And it makes it really uncomfortable because you have big boobs. Yuri carries our teacups and places them on the ground, sliding them down onto the floor. Soon enough, the two of us are in the same position as yesterday, each holding one side of the story.
Would it be okay if...
Yuri shifts closer to me until our shoulders are touching. Her thick purple hair flops over my arm as she peers over the book. I think I like Yuri being a bit more assertive. It's very dominating and very alluring.
Here.
Yuri reaches over with her free hand and presents me with my teacup. I carefully accept it, taking great care to avoid her chest as I do so. I slowly let go of the book and raise the teacup. Yuri subconsciously moves her hand underneath it to better balance the book between us. Her gaze is completely focused on the pages below. It's almost as if you can see the story being scanned word by word in her eyes. As she continues, I take a sip from my teacup. Oh, it's delectable. The tea leaf is so elegant and so masqué in the cup. It has a soothing floral flavor and it smells wonderful. Yuri wasn't kidding. This really is quite relaxing. Once I've finished my tea, I take a chocolate from my bag and fiddle with the wrapper. After I clumsily dispose of it, I pop it into my mouth. I got some chocolates here. Would you like one?
Oh, I appreciate that offer, but I don't want to accidentally get smudges on the page.
That's a good point. Sorry, I hadn't thought of that. My bad.
Oh, it's quite alright. I can hold the book for us, if you'd like.
Yuri grabs the other side of the book and holds it between us. Before I know it, she's transfixed in the story again. I don't think she's noticed, but her arm's resting on top of my leg. I take another chocolate from my bag and raise it up to Yuri's mouth. Wow. Well, looking away, she parts her lips. I don't know if she even realizes she's doing it, but she's expecting it now. I have to follow through. I timidly place the chocolate in Yuri's mouth. As she continues, I'm really nervous because I remember the last time I did this with her. She forced me up on my feet, dragged me to the back of the closet, and just shoved my hand right onto her chest. It was very uncomfortable. Please don't let that happen again. As she continues to read, she closes her lips around it.
Huh?
Looks like she just realized what happened.
What? Flam?
Yuri blushes deeply, looking up at me. Sorry, I wasn't really thinking.
No. You were trying to make me feel more comfortable. Right?
Suddenly I feel really nervous. Yeah. I just thought you might like some.
Yes. If that's the case, then I wouldn't mind another.
Okay, this is a little more normal than what happened the last time that this took place.
If that's alright with you, of course.
Totally. Yuri tries to look back at the book, but I can tell she's unable to focus on it. I can feel my heart trying to beat out of my chest. Things have gotten really tense. I reach down and take another chocolate. This time, Yuri's eyes meet mine. Was this how things were supposed to go? Yuri doesn't look away. There's a soft pleading in her eyes as she blinks slowly. I raise my arm. Damn, who would have thought sharing chocolate would be this alluring? Like before, Yuri parts her lips. However, this time, it feels a lot more intimate. Her breath is gentle and warm on my fingers as I place the chocolate in her mouth. You...
Okay, Everett.
Okay, I should have saved the meme for that moment. For that right there. Alright, everyone, shut your traps! Ding dong, bing bong! Don't erase your poems! Your harmonica not the green and it's time!
Well, what do we have here?
Yuri jolts back.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make things awkward. We do need to share poems now, though. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Great! Get things put away and you can join us shortly.
Yuri and I sit there dumbfounded.
Well, I guess I could take care of the teacups.
Yeah, I'll put my book away. Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. Without another word, the two of us clean everything up. I don't know if either of us will have the courage to bring this up in the future. Oh, damn, that was that was interesting. All right. Natsuki.
Well, it's better than your last one, but I still don't like it. It's trying too hard to be serious.
Huh? What do you mean?
Poems don't need cryptic and deep sounding to be good. It just sounds super dumb if you don't suck at it. Honestly, don't try to write like this until you're on Yuri's level.
Natsuki pauses as if she just realized something.
Oh, don't tell me. You're just writing this to impress Yuri, aren't you?
What? No, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm just writing.
Yeah, writing exactly how Yuri would write. She would love crap like this. You know what? No.
Natsuki shoves my poem back at me.
I don't want to do this with you anymore. If you wrote a poem for someone else, don't show it to me.
Well, that just happened. I guess this was destined to happen. I never really understood what Natsuki tries to get out of me. At least she wasn't the girl I was trying to impress. Okay, Monica.
Hi again, Flam. I'm trusting that the club's been doing you well.
Same answer as yesterday.
That's nice to hear. So how's the writing going?
Alright, I guess.
Just alright,
Alright, let's skip for this first part. Alright, I'm missing out on reading Monica's poems. I thought that she would say something different that would make the skipping stop. So I guess not. Alright, so I guess... Sayori?
Ooh. I really like this one, Flam.
Better than yesterday's, huh?
Let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both.
That's not very helpful, you know.
Sorry. I'm probably not the best person to get feedback from. Monica once told me it's impossible to really rate a poem because they're so subjective. So I just judge poems through my heart. I guess I look for how the poem makes me feel. I hope that helps.
Sort of. I guess some feedback is better than no feedback, right?
Right. Speaking of feedback, do you want to read my poem now?
Sure. Bottles. I pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. It's the secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little balls of sunshine, all rubbing together like a bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly, but there's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe. And I put the bottle on the shelf with all the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. In bottles, all in a row. My collection makes me lots of friends. Each bottle a starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friend feels a certain way. Down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams. Friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go. Like exploring a dark cave. Discovering the secrets hiding in the nooks and crannies. Digging and digging, scraping and scraping. I blow dust off my bottle caps. It doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally all done. I open up, and in come my friends. In they come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? I frantically pull them from the shelf, one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle. But every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, in shards all over the floor. They were supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading, something. But all I hear is echo, 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 inside my head. Wow, Sayori. I didn't expect this at all. Okay, I can skip this part. Alright, Yuri. My muse.
Let's see what you've written for today.
Yuri stares at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it?
Flam, I'm stunned. How is it possible that you're already this skilled at writing? It was but a day ago that I was trying to give you advice, and now you've already seemed to master it.
Perhaps you're a good teacher. I really took your advice to heart and tried to compose a great piece with that in mind. Yuri visibly swallows. She coils a slender lock of her hair around her finger, twiddling it nervously.
You thought of me?
Sorry, was that weird?
No, how do I word this?
It's fine. Take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offer that patience to her.
I'm not used to this sort of thing. Having someone value my opinion like that. I know it might sound foolish, but the fact that I was able to inspire you is incredibly humbling. And I suppose, in a way, it just makes me really happy.
Wait, surely you've shared your writing with others before, right? Yuri shakes her head. Seriously? You're really talented, so I would have thought you'd have shown your writing to others.
I primarily write for myself, and besides, I highly doubt people would seriously enjoy my writing.
Do you really think that? Yuri nods solemnly. You really haven't shared it with anyone else. Not even your close friends. Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. Anyway, can I look at your poem now?
Yeah. Yes, of course. If you really want to see it.
Resist. A whimsical, tiny caress friend. Sleeps along my amber bookend, dreaming about a sanguine day where mirrored slender lampposts play. She beckons me, her hand extends, piercing pupils, reality send. Azure channels bend and twist, cautiously held above the wrists. However, she finds her advances shunned, always crackling, always stunned, never able to draw the lance. Across my arm she never dance. Perhaps it would be for the best if I laid her down to rest, whilst I haven't given in to painful pleading from within. I think that it might be smart to save the song of fumbling hearts, lest tears make me dizzily fall and answer her violent, virulent call. Alright, skip that. Alright.
It's a good point, though. It's the best I can do to try to embrace my own weirdness, right? Otherwise, I think I'd hate myself. Sorry to keep you so long. Thank you for allowing me to ramble. There aren't many people in this world like you, Flam. When I share my writing with you, I feel like you genuinely care about what I have to say. It's nice having someone who listens.
That might be a bit much to say, wouldn't it?
It's just, I'm not really used to it. I rarely feel comfortable about my writing, let alone with the idea of sharing it. But with you, it just feels so easy. It's nice. Thank you for helping me with that, Flam.
It's nothing, really. Yuri shows me a genuine smile. A newfound sense of self-confidence seems to sparkle behind her eyes, if only just for a moment.
Okay, everyone.
Oh, I can skip this part here. Uh-oh. Okay.
Natsuki and I haven't shared yet.
Uh-oh. I can feel a storm coming on. Yuri hesitantly approaches Natsuki, who isn't meeting her eyes. Is she still angry with Yuri? It might be out of character for her to be. Although judging by Monika and Sayori's anxious expressions, I feel like something else is amiss.
So, Natsuki, if I may.
Okay, I can skip right here. Okay, here, hold on a second here.
So, let's just say that one day, Yuri asked to walk home with you.
Huh?
What would you do?
What kind of question is that? You're kind of putting me on the spot here. Well... Sorry, Sayori, but, you know, we're kind of going on the Yuri route here, so... I would walk home with Yuri. Oh god, that's gonna be... it's gonna be so bad to say right here. Walking home with Yuri, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? I mean, given how hard it is for her to socialize, I'd feel awful turning her down, so...
Isn't she so beautiful and smart?
That has nothing to do with what I just said.
You admitted it.
Jeez. There's not even any point in speculating something that's ever going to happen.
Well, maybe. But I just like to think about it. Don't you ever think that maybe she'd be more fun to walk home with?
I frown. Where did this come from? What? I mean, it could be interesting, I guess. But even if I did walk with her, it's not like she'd be replacing you or anything. Everyone is different. Nobody in the club is a replacement for you.
If you say so.
The conversation trails off, and I'm left feeling awkward. But it was kind of her fault for trapping me with such a weird question. I can't just lie to her. But if there's something that makes her happy, I would hate to take that away from her. That's why I said there's no point in speculating. Skip a beat, skip a beat. Alright. Third poem time. Let's see. Have a set. Passion. Determination. Feather. Really? Feather's not a Yuri word? Vertigo. Electricity. Uncontrollable. Melancholy. Disaster. Unrestrained. Unrequited. Contamination. Judgment. Variance. Massacre. Tenacious. Misfortune. After image. Extraordinary. Philosophy. Okay, let's see here. I know Sayori told me not to worry about her and to have fun with everyone else, but that's impossible to do when she's behaving like this. There's nothing I can do besides wait for Monica to talk to her. For some reason, I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. I glance around the room. Suddenly, I notice that Yuri is peering over her book at me. Realizing that she's staring, she timidly hides behind her book. Did she overhear the stuff about Sayori? Perhaps she can help. I walk over to where Yuri's sitting and slide into the desk next to her.
I'm sorry if I was distracting you. I didn't mean to stare at you like that.
Yuri, it's okay. You're not bothering me at all. She sighs, appearing somewhat relieved.
I see. Well, I couldn't help but notice you were deep in thought. Is there something on your mind, Flam?
Well, yes, actually, but how could you tell? She gently flicks a page in her book back and forth, rubbing her thumb gingerly against the corners.
I'm usually alone with my thoughts, so I know what to look for. Not that I was specifically watching you or anything. Oh dear, I hope you don't think that was weird of me.
Don't worry about it. I think being so perceptive is kind of cool. Perhaps you can help me with something, Yuri. Her curiosity percued. She folds the page that she was reading slightly to mark it for later, then shuts the book and turns to me.
Are you sure I'm the right person for that?
I do. You seem to have your head on right, so you'll... If only you knew. So you'll probably give me great advice.
I see. Well, I'll do my best, I suppose.
Okay, so I guess the main issue is actually... Have you noticed anything up with Sayori?
Sayori?
She glances over to Sayori, who's totally oblivious to what's happening around her. Yeah, things just seem really different, you know? Like she's not herself. I tried to ask her about it, and she just told me she was tired, but I'm not so sure. Yuri idly taps at her book with her fingers, apparently thinking things over.
That must be quite worrying for you. I'm sorry to hear she's not feeling well. Forgive me if this isn't an appropriate question, but do you mind me asking how long you've known each other?
Gosh, as long as I can remember, really. We hung out a lot as kids, but as we got older, we kind of drifted apart. Since I've been coming to the club, though, I've had the opportunity to spend a bit more time with her. Yuri nods contemptibly.
Okay, well, perhaps she doesn't feel comfortable sharing what's ailing her. That's not to say she doesn't think of you as a good friend. You just, haven't really seen much of each other recently, have you? Forgive me if that sounds too harsh.
I place my hand on Yuri's shoulder. She tenses up for a split second, but quickly eases down again. Yuri, trust me. If you were bothering me, I'd tell you. You need to stop apologizing so much. It's really okay.
Sorry. I mean...
I let out a soft laugh. She's very sincere. It's quite endearing. I understand where you're coming from, though. Perhaps I'll need to work my way up to that level of connection with her again. Yuri folds her arms and tilts her head to the side, allowing her long violet hair to droop down over the desk.
Flam, have you heard of the proverb about our three masks?
I don't think I have.
Well, to put it simply, every person has three different faces. The first is how we present ourselves to people in public, strangers, passers-by, that sort of thing. The second is how we present ourselves to our close friends and family, the one we hold dear to our hearts. And the last is reserved for only for oneself. It's our truest representation of our being that no one else can possibly interpret.
That's actually pretty amazing. Yuri truly seems to know what she's talking about.
Notice I said how we present ourselves, not how we feel. I think perhaps the way Sayori acts and the way she feels aren't necessarily the same.
I think I understand. But what makes you bring that up?
You felt as though something wasn't right from the beginning, correct? Maybe your intuition is trying to guide you towards that conclusion on its own. Of course, that's just my perspective. It's entirely possible that I'm looking too much into it. Although I must admit, I am curious about her seemingly sudden attitude shift. I wonder what could have caused that. I assume you don't know of any potential events that could have had an impact on her life, do you?
Nothing comes to mind, although as you said earlier, I'm not sure if she'd tell me anyway. She turns to me wearing a plaintive smile.
I understand this must be quite frustrating for you, Flam. You want to help her, but she won't let you. But sometimes, there's only so much you can do. For now, your best bet would be simply to let her know you're there for her, without prying. I'm sure she would open up to you when she feels comfortable doing so. She's lucky to have such a thoughtful person looking out for her. Friends like that are quite hard to come by these days.
Monica said something similar to me just now. I rubbed the back of my neck in embarrassment. You guys give me so much credit. I'm just doing what any friend would do, right? There's nothing extraordinary about what I'm doing for Sayori.
So humble.
Anyway, do you mind if we do some reading? I can't do anything else for Sayori, so I might as well take my mind off it.
Of course. I thought we could carry on with the portrait of Markov. If that's okay with you, that is.
Yeah, sure. That'll do fine. But before we get into it, I just wanted to say thanks. For listening to me, I mean. You've been super supportive, even though this stuff doesn't really have anything to do with you. So, I really appreciate it. You're a genuine person, Yuri. Not to mention you've got a cool taste in literature.
I don't know what to say.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Sorry. It's just that you're really mature and insightful, and for someone like me who isn't very good with emotions, you really hit the nail on the head.
Sorry. I'm just not really used to people being so nice.
I frown. That's kind of surprising. Sure, she's a little quiet, but she's really got her heart in the right place. It's okay. I should have been a bit more mindful. Shall we start reading?
If you wouldn't mind. Thank you, though. I'm glad you joined the club, by the way.
Skipperoo, skipperoo. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and save it here for now. Since we got the rhythm here going with Yuri and all that. She's actually very very endearing. I haven't given her a whole lot of credit. Of course, going back to exit music, that's kind of a given. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment down below what you think so far. And again, link in the description to the full playlist as of so far. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one.